For the end times, it's very interesting because there's also the story of a polar shift. We have stories of when the end times come that the sun will be rising from the west. And when the sun comes up from the west, there's going to be a time of timelessness when everything stops, the whole world stops, and everything that lived on this world is going to come back up, and we're gonna all laugh, sing, dance, and go in this joyful, like, hey, this is life. Let's go start again.
Today's guest is Shondale Lee. I refer to him as the Navajo Code Whisperer. This is a very deep conversation, folks. You're going to want to listen to this in full. Thank you for being here with us. Let's get into the presentation. We nailed it again. Yeah, we've been talking about it for years, and I know many of you have taken advantage of the opportunity, and many of you still are. Gold, silver, smoking hot. So check this out. Here's some statistics on gold. It's gone up more than 81% in the last 5 years, almost 20% in the last 12 months. And it's happening. Central banks are ditching the US dollar, and US treasuries are buying more gold. What is the good news? Well, there's plenty of good news, especially for those of you that call Noble Gold Investments, because it's still predicted to go up a lot more. Now, there's never any guarantees, so follow what the money funders are doing, and they're still buying gold at a record pace. The UBS even said it would go up to $5,000. Noble Gold, their phone is ringing off the hook. Good news is there's somebody there that will help you from start until the completion of your purchase. And if you qualify, if you start a new account with Noble Gold Investments, they will gift you a standard gold 1/4 ounce coin to add to your collection. That's a nice addition to anybody's collection. Give them a call, 1-877-646-5347. Go to leakprojectgold.com. You can also go to noblegoldinvestments.com. They're giving free ebooks for Leak Project listeners. And let's get back to this presentation right now. Do you see a connection there with Navajo traditions that the stars themselves actually have a big influence, like what house we're in the physiological, the political, the scientific, the overall makeup of civilization during those times? As an example, age of Taurus, age of the bull, age of large structures like megaliths, and then we go to the age of Aries, which is more the age of the law, and then you have the religions, like Jewish traditions seem to become more prevalent, more powerful in that time. And then it goes to the age of Pisces, which is a mixed bag of what people call the age of Pisces. But a lot of times people call the age of Pisces like the age of hell, which is really interesting.
Yeah, Hades. For us Navajos, we have also like a little prayer thing that we do. It's kind of like with, you know how they call like the 7 chakras or whatever. For us Navajos, we also have a different prayer that connects all these different chakras, I guess. For the crown chakra, we would say, we know our third eye, I see, the throat, I speak, and my heart, I love, the solar, I do. This is where my do comes from. My sacral area is I feel, and the root is I am. The I am is what connects us with other people, and that connection is what makes creation.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
See, here's another thing. It's all mindset, because
yeah.
When a lot of people think of the root chakra, they're like, oh, you're just in defense mode. You're just in fight or flight mode. You just want to fight. That's,
Yeah.
I'm like, but it's not. It's so much more than that. And you just described it as such.
Yeah. It's a connection of spirituality. It's a fully connection of the people that you love, people that you really cherish and care for. And they say if you can create that bonding, that you will generate a beautiful life. Yeah.
It shows how important everything is. It shows how important this physical reality is. And after physical reality, or maybe into a new physical type reality. But people seem to be in one of two mindsets
Yeah.
oftentimes, right? It's like it's either now or then, it's either earth or heaven. Well, they're all important. All aspects of reality, all aspects of life, all aspects of experience.
That word is actually is demonized, or it's perverted, is a liberal. A liberal is right in the middle, you know. A liberal is right in the center. He's not really right, he's not really left, he's just right in the center. But when you hear that word, people are like, oh, you're a liberal, blah blah blah. Like it has that negative nomenclature to it, where people stick bad stuff to it, but it's actually just the middle. This is, I'm not agreeing with you, I'm not agreeing with you. I'll just take it into consideration, and we'll see where we'll go from there.
Weaponized language, weaponized verbiage, woke, liberal, truther, conspiracy theorist.
All bad medicine.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So we as a species and as individuals, let's flip that bad medicine
and turn them into good. Just speak beautiful, and just don't go with the flow. Don't be that hateful monster that they're trying to be.
Yeah, there's plenty of those.
Yeah.
You know, I watch these trends on big media platforms, and I think to myself, okay, the impact on culture is substantial. Modern sorcerers and modern wizardry is marketing and advertising and media. It could be used for bad. It could be used as neutral. But I would think, as a species, if like humankind, right? Sound of God, the sound of the divine, man, manifest, kind. The sound of the divine manifests kindness. That's what we were originally designed for. And if I'm the creator or one of the creators of humankind, I'd be looking at these social media platforms that are promoting idiocracy to the 10th degree, and I'd be a little disappointed. I'd be like, well, why are you suppressing platforms and ideas that are there to help people, and you're pushing agendas that keep people in this mindset of truly lower consciousness? Like, you have a lower IQ, and if you think I'm making this up, just study study psychology. And when you get in groups, and depending on the group that you're in, your IQ drops big time. Like, why do you think people do really stupid things in big events sometimes? That might be a smart guy, but he's hanging out with a bunch of stupid people, and his emotions go wild, and he just loses his mind at a moment, and he does something really stupid. Happens to a lot of us. Trust me. So it's like, look, well, how do we as a species, as individuals, create a culture, a civilization, a mindset that breaks out of this stupidity and gluttony and genuine idiocracy? Like, how do we become humankind again? Well, I'm going to give one idea, and that's to share stories and like your own personal experiences and connect some dots. Like, think of ways to be a better person. Think of ways to improve the world that we live in. What people, like this whole plastic thing is so ridiculous, because there's literally a few corporations that control the majority of the chemicals and the plastics that are used for so many different products. Like, you change plastic to hemp, boom. You get rid of forever chemicals, boom. If you just use common sense and put people with common sense at these high-level positions and said, okay, let's make money helping the world. Let's make money with new products. And it would be so freaking easy. But people are stuck in these old mindsets of like, no, well, I have a patent on this and you can't patent that. So we're going to...
I believe we're like on on a vision quest, a global vision quest. This vision quest was started back in the late 1800s, I believe. It was a philosophical movement. They call it Friedrich Nietzsche, right? They
No.
call it Friedrich Nietzsche was this famous philosopher, German famous philosopher. They call it Nietzscheism. Nietzscheism is pretty much the foundation of World War One and World War Two, is to bring in that different change, that different mindset of production.
And I think that, well, Elder Maleva, Grandpa Maleva, Grandpa Martin, Hopi Elder,
Yeah,
he had shared his father's prophecy of electrical wires in the future when they weren't around, and how that was actually like the future. I don't want to use the word destruction, but like that was a future apocalypse upon us, a future Armageddon. It wasn't, Planet X per se. There is a prophecy of Planet X also, but it was
yeah.
of these electrical wires. And did you see Hell on Wheels? That
No,
TV series? Oh, dude, you'd
no.
love it. Awesome. Hell on Wheels, epic TV series. It takes you back to the Wild West when, like, before the
The
railroad.
railroads.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've seen clips of it,
There's this
but I
one prophecy, there's this one vision that a native has of the railroad being put in.
cool.
But it was scary, dude. Like, I'm getting chills thinking about it, right?
Yeah,
Because he saw that, and that was such a turning point for natural to artificial.
cool.
Cool but frightening at the same time.
Kind of like John Henry, how John Henry, when the railroading thing came out, he challenged the new railroading machine that was laying down the spikes. So he was there, boom, 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 hammering it. He proved that man can still beat machine.
It's
That
getting
also
more difficult.
correlates with the railroad stories.
It's getting more difficult. We're going to have to really
Yeah,
start thinking outside of the box with artificial. It seems to me that, and I want to get if you have some connections to the Anunnaki, possibly. The Anunnaki in ancient cuneiform tablets creates humans to do the work for them.
hmm.
And I'm not just talking Zachariah Sitchin stuff, folks, but
Yeah,
most of you already know this. But then now we're creating robots and artificial intelligence to do the work for us. And some scriptures talk about how there were councils of beings that created humans too powerful, so they had to like suppress them. And there's several cultures around the world that talk about this in different locations. I think the Mayans even talked about it. So now we're creating technologies that could be, in many ways, more capable than most people. And possibly this exponential growth could be so rapid that humanity could become extinct or inferior. So what does the Navajo say and the traditions about those type of cycles, if anything?
for the end times, it's very interesting because there's also the story of a polar shift. We have stories of when the end times come, that the sun will be rising from the west. And when the sun comes up from the west, there's going to be a time of timelessness when everything stops, the whole world stops, and everything that lived on this world is going to come back up, and we are gonna all laugh, sing, dance, and go in this joyful, like, hey, this is life. Let's go start again.
Is that the rainbow prophecy?
It's this prophecy. I haven't seen it anywhere. I don't know where it's at, but it's pretty much just tellings that I've heard from different numerous medicine men that told it over the years of all these events that are happening right now. One of my great grandfather, he also told me that when the end times come is when a crow comes down and he starts talking to you. When that crow comes down and says, "Hey, how are you doing? Are you doing good today?" That's when you know the end is here.
Bro, Canyon 44. What does that mean? Have you seen those petroglyphs that say 44 in Crow Canyon, New Mexico? Have you been to Crow Canyon?
No, I haven't been there, but the 44 is very. If you put the four together, you put a four in a mirror, you get the top of the spearhead, a 4-4. And with the 4-4, it's very interesting because Genesis 1-1 consists of 44 letters, and Revelation 22-21, the end of the Bible, also has 44 letters. You put 44 and 44 together, you get 8-8.
Infinite duality.
Yeah. For the 8 is symbolism of the hourglass. For us Navajos, that symbol of the hourglass is very sacred. It's a connection that we have with the most highest sacred mountain, which is the Benetza, they call it. It's Mount Hesperus in Colorado. It's our northernmost sacred mountain. They call it the Access Mundi of the Navajos. It's the center of the world, the umbilical of this whole Mother Earth.
Tell us more about that.
The Access Mundi. The Access Mundi is a teaching that comes from the Tibetan culture. The Access Mundi is the great tree. The great tree is what is depicted on those what do you call that? The Sumerian tablets. You know, that elaborate looking tree that would be the Access Mundi. The Access Mundi is an energy pillar, which all life essentially funnels in. And once it funnels in, it creates that. It's number 8, I guess you would say, the hourglass.
Wow. And let's go.
Yeah. The Benetza, Mount Hesperus, they call it a 13er. It's a 13,000 feet mountain. It's pretty much, that's what they call it, a 13er. But if you go from, like, if you were to measure the Benetza, Hesperus, and you go down to Tibet, where Mount Kailash is, you'll come up with 7,671 miles. Pretty just a random number. But when you put that and you convert it to kilometers, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.278 kilometers.
Could be some type of portal, vortex, Stargate,
a connection point. If you look at both peaks, you look at the Benetop, you look at Mount Hesperus, the shape of it looks exactly like a Vermuna. You know those Vermanas or whatever, the little, it has like a little, kind of looks like a pot or whatever. It looks pretty similar. And with Mount Kailash, it also looks the same, a little bell cap. But with these stories, us Navajos, we have stories of not aircrafts, but big birds that we came from other worlds that put us here on this earth. One of the stories that they pass around is how Shiprock is a big bird, and it just crash landed right there, and this is how we came to be here.
Now, what do you think about Shiprock?
Shiprock is very sacred. I believe it is both haunting and spiritual at the same time. It can give you both a blessing and a curse.
It's a magical area.
Oh yeah, the area is, if you locate it's located on the Kachina ley line. The Kachina ley line actually starts from that node.
Who named it Kachina ley line, I wonder?
I have no idea who names these Kachinas. I have no idea who names these ley lines, but I've seen it on the ley line map.
That's pretty dang cool.
Yeah.
Now, what do you see? Like, you see things every single day. Like, literally, we text numerous times daily, and you see something in the news, and you can connect it to a prophecy, and then
Oh
you
yeah.
connect it to possibly what's going on right now and numerologically, and there's all these dots that you connect. Where do you see the U.S. going the next 6 to 12 months? Where are we going as a society? And are you concerned?
I'd say 5 or 6 years ago, it was very concerning. It was very concerning that nobody was seeing what was going on. And it feels like over the years, people that have been spreading this information, that have been really untangling prophecies and really, really getting at it, putting the fear factor out of it, we're starting to see it come unraveled. And within Bible prophecies, there's actually passages that talk about mystery Babylon and how this mystery Babylon will be identified. And once it's identified, it's going to be completely abolished. And that is what I see that's happening right now. It's very controversial, my thoughts and these words that I'm saying right now, but it's just what it is, I guess you would say. And this mystery Babylon is very beautiful. It's written in rocks. It's written in stones. It's elaborated with gold, and it's made into this beautiful facade that we believe to be the one. But in actuality, it's actually a copy of something that's older, and that older text supersedes these teachings that are dispensed to us globally. And I believe that that spell is coming unraveled as we move forward. And the people that are trying to imply this terror, this destruction, this whole devastation are feeling that effect that, hey, these humans are actually humans. The one thing that people don't get is like magic. They think magic is like what Hollywood gave us, like this is magic, magic or whatever. Magic is actually words. Magic is how to communicate. Magic is opening new avenues of creation, is how to communicate those creations to other people, and that's how magic happens.
That was some wise words right there, bro. It's called spelling for a reason, folks.
Yeah, they say like the biggest magic word is thank you. Like thank you opens up a lot of doors. Like if you say thank you and pardon me, that's also another magic word.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank you.
if we can disenchant it ourselves about what Hollywood fed us about what magic is, and we understand what really magic is words and how to persuade people. And you see the big magician right now on the stage. He's just spitting so much hate. Oh, you're so stupid. It's me. I did it. It's me. Everyone's stupid. Everyone doesn't know, but I am the one that knows. Those are magic words that the big magician is using on the stage.
Magic
Mm.
with a K. Yeah, man. Like, hello. Amazing time to be here. So thankful, so grateful. Beautiful blue skies. What do you think about the Sleeping Ute? That's a mountain, folks, just so you know.
I grew
Or
up on
is
the
it?
bottom of the Sleeping Ute. I grew up about 30 miles from the Sleeping Ute, so I grew up every morning looking at that giant. And to us, it's a giant. It's a big man. If we were to go over there and we were to put our elbows like this and we were to measure it, we would. I'm definite. We would get 3,000 elbows all the way down. That's the size of an angel in the Bible. 3,000 L's.
That is the Book of Enoch that describes that. It's actually a mile. It's like I think it's 1 mile in height.
Oh yeah.
Is what 3,000 L's is. I'll double check, but 5,280 feet approximately. If you take 3,000 elbows, it would.
Yeah, in the Bible is 3,000 L's for a giant.
Yeah, and 3,000 elbows would equate to about a mile high.
Yeah.
Right about that. Yeah, it depends on whose elbow. Shaquille O'Neal or
Yeah.
Mini Me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. One thing I really wanted to talk to you about is your decoding of Farmington in New Mexico and Highway 60, Route 66 and the old Highway 666. And you have connected much of that and much of the area in the Four Corners and here in the States to biblical locations also.
It starts from Isaiah 40, which is make a pathway for the Lord, make it straight. And if you look at the Highway 666, Highway 491, Formula 666, you'll see that it's pretty straight. It just rips straight through from Douglas, Arizona up to Hesperus, Colorado. And if that measurement that they put on Wikipedia is that it's 605 miles, the stretch. And the other interesting thing that puts onto the global happenings is that the end of the 666 area is Monticello, Utah, and that is where that monolith appeared. You know, back in I
Yeah,
forgot what
I
year
was
it was.
there.
Yeah, that's the monolith that you went to. That's exactly where the Highway 666 empties off and ends.
You know, that was such a cool experience when I went out there and I found it, and it was gone the next day.
Yeah.
They're like, Rex, did you take that? I'm like, no, dude.
And also the one thing about the Highway 666 is that it ran right, especially through where the birthplace of the semiconductor, I guess you would say. All our computers that are running right now has a semiconductor. Shiprock, New Mexico is the home of the semiconductor. We've been to that plant. I forgot what year it was, but we went down that little road. And I was telling you that there was little radiation deposits. That's where the semiconductor plant was.
That is so weird. In
Yeah.
Farmington, New Mexico, the amount of technology and Department of Defense programs.
Farmington, New Mexico is actually the first place they tested the 3G also, I believe, back in 1991.
New Mexico must have some really ancient history.
I believe it's just big open areas that you can test. There's just not a lot of this huge open area that you can mess around with whatever you're testing.
Shondale,
And us Navajos were very like spiritual. So if we see something up in the sky, we're going to be scared. We're going to be like, "Holy shit! That's whatever. We'll make up whatever god there is, and we're not going to look at it. We're going to have respect for it."
That's cool. Now, one thing that I've kind of changed my tune about a bit is all the UFO encounters and that were flying saucers and what people saw in the late 40s. For example, the Aztec incident, the Aztec, New Mexico incident where a flying saucer crashed. There were several reports of people watching these craft, and this one in particular because it was acting erratic and then it smashed into the oil fields. I've been to that location. There's actually literally a plaque there that says, this is the location of such and such. Allegedly, there was like 18 bodies within the craft that got fried. And I thought to myself, okay, maybe they were inner Earth. Maybe they were a civilization from Earth that kind of broke away and survived while everybody else was settling back and reestablishing civilizations from apocalypses.
It's interesting with the news that you were giving yesterday with the aliens and the Harvard study. It kind of like mixes in. It pretty much confirms like these alien crashings, I guess you would say.
Yeah, and I'm also thinking though that one in particular that took place in Aztec, New Mexico, and many of these others these claims. What if that was just our own military that was like attempting to refine these craft? Maybe they found them in an archaeological dig, or there was some transfer of technology. Maybe Roswell was legit. I'm 50-50 on that approximately. I'm not sure anymore. But definitely there's some technologies that were captured. And what if they were testing those in the 40s and one of them crashed? And so they made up this big elaborate story. Oh, they were aliens, bro, that got cooked on the way in here. But really, they were just like military people.
I believe it was like back in 1952, also here in Farmington, six months before the Korean War, there was a armada spotted here in Farmington, which there was like, I don't remember how much UFOs were caught, but there are pictures of it. And it was on the Daily Times magazine.
Oh, we need to look into that more.
Yeah.
Let's look into that. Let's do some research. That's a pretty pretty big story. And that
before
the war in Korea, just 6 months?
Yeah, it was like in 1952, I believe it was. When I looked at it, it was like 6 months before.
Man, I've wondered.
You just Google like Armada, Farmington, New Mexico, and it'll pull up the Daily Times news article. So yeah, this area has been pretty hot for years.
Rio Rancho, the Farmington Armada incident got a lot of local press at the time, but it took 65 years before there was an in-depth research on the Northwest New Mexico phenomenon. David Marler said his presentation Saturday for the New Mexico chapter of the Mutual UFO Network is the first public lecture about a detailed investigation of the incident. I wasn't there in March 1950, so I'll be honest, I'm like most other people. I don't know what these witnesses saw. Marler said, I usually go into a process of elimination. Did they see aircraft? Did they see some kind of atmospheric phenomena? When you can systematically rule out all of the conventional explanations, you're left with the genuine unknown. It's a mystery.
The one thing that I can say for sure, though, is the first war that I've been into when I was in Baghdad back in 2003, the technology that we were using was simple texting. It was texting between vehicles.
Texting?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Texting.
With emojis?
No emojis. This is the text message.
And you're like on Motorola big brick phones?
No, it wasn't us. It was the vehicles.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the Special Forces unit had a handheld device on their own, but for us, we got fed through the earpiece of what to do from the text messages.
You ever see a giant out there?
No, I never seen no giant out there.
You've heard the stories of the giant in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, I've heard about the giant in Afghanistan. I did see a whole bunch of like Sumerian art, a whole bunch of Sumerian tablets, a whole bunch of Sumerian artifacts. When I first went to Baghdad, we took up the green zone. We were guarding the green zone. We had people come up to us with these pieces. And at the time, we didn't really know what they were. They just looked like rock to us, like, get the heck out of here. So they would try to tell us that they have this information and they need to speak to someone inside. We're like, you can't get out of here.
I'll trade this 7,000-year-old Sumerian tablet to get out of here.
So I've seen them before.
That's amazing. That is incredible.
The one thing that really like freaked me out is I've also been to Babylon, Iraq, and walking around there is similar to Chaco Canyon. The same texture, the same age, the same weathering, I guess you would say, which put me into the thought frame, like, were these two existing at the same time?
I want to thank Shondale very much for sharing his knowledge and time with us here at Leap Project, and jump on over to our Patreon page because this interview is uncensored and almost 2 hours. Be excellent to each other, everybody, and be the change you want to see. Real quick, check us out over on Patreon. Why? Because I have hundreds of hours of exclusive content, ad-free, uncensored, unedited, stuff that we can only talk about on Patreon, beyond the cutting edge, and you'll get access to it for only $1 a month. And if there's an interview that you want me to do, a guest that you want me to get on the show, or a topic that you want me to discuss, if you leave a comment over on Patreon, I'll do my best to get that guest on the podcast or that subject. And I'll even do my best to get back to you here on YouTube. And your contributions greatly help Leap Project. So check us out over on Patreon, and please subscribe to our YouTube channel here and hit the bell for all notifications, and check back daily for new podcasts, because we upload podcasts pretty much every single day. And has anyone told you today that you're awesome? Because you are.